What is going on, guys? So if you're like me, you've been wondering if there will be a possibility of a second open beta, considering the first one had a little bit of a trouble launching for a lot of players in the Battlefield community. The fact that they're extending the official launch date from October to November, and the fact that we had two alphas instead of one would make sense for us to have a second open beta. That question was asked alongside a host of other things, like if there's going to be a Firestorm beta possibly coming out, and this got the attention of our global community manager Dan Mitra, who replied and said no second beta planned at the moment. So nothing that he said indefinitely, but he said no second beta planned for right now. So it's not their focus of DICE right now. I figured that bringing out another open beta would take a lot of effort and resources from DICE, so I wasn't expecting anything to come out officially just yet. It is nice to hear them say nothing planned at the moment, so they've kept it open, but this does make sense to me. I figured that they would be focused on other things, and that's where they're going to use their resources for right now. But when it comes to the question of there's going to be an open beta for the new Firestorm Battle Royale mode, Mitra replies and says more news on Firestorm Access later, but obviously we have this for now, and that is a link to the Battlefield article that first detailed all the information on the new Firestorm Battle Royale mode. So even though from this little tweet here we haven't received an official announcement or any little hint of details about possibly an open beta coming to Firestorm, or really any information around Firestorm at all, but it has made me think about if there will be an open beta or some type of community tested environment for the new Firestorm game mode, and what the importance of having one is to the community. So for one, I do think that there will be some type of testing environment. I would be really surprised if DICE doesn't take our feedback on Firestorm, a completely new mode coming to the Battlefield, considering they allow us to test so much of other things that come into Battlefield games. This would be really surprising if they don't do some type of beta or community test environment, or however you want to call it, just some type of a testing phase for this new game mode. So for one, I will be really surprised if that doesn't happen. I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow, or that's even going to happen before the launch of Battlefield 5. We got to remember that Firestorm is being launched post Battlefield 5's launch, so who knows when that could actually be, but I would expect something for the community to test out, to give DICE a little bit of feedback on what exactly direction they're taking this new Battle Royale mode. I think this testing environment for the new BR mode is crucial to have, because on one end of the spectrum it allows the community to give feedback on really the three controversial topics, in my opinion. The first being the only 4-player squad mode that's available right now. We haven't heard anything advertised for duos or singles, which plays a big part to the Battle Royale genre. And then of course we only see the players going up to the population of 64 on the battlefield, unlike the typical 100 players, or I've heard some people say it doesn't have to have 100 players in a BR mode, and I can understand that, maybe 80, 88, something that we were seeing COD play around with. But I feel like it still needs to go up higher than 64, so that still feels like that needs to be worked on. And then of course the real hot topic, and that is having tanks in the Battle Royale genre. I've been trying to sit down and try to justify having tanks and how that's going to work out, and it's just really difficult for me to see that. But on the other end of the spectrum, this testing phase for the new BR mode will give DICE the opportunity to communicate where they're coming from. We got to understand that DICE is trying to make this BR mode a unique Battlefield version, and that's why we're seeing really key things being advertised here. If there's 3 things to look for in every Battlefield title, it is squad gameplay, vehicles, and destruction. And of course these are the 3 things we see advertised in that article that Mitra linked in the tweet. So these are the things you need to be looking for, and this is what DICE is trying to introduce, and this is something we would want to kind of see in a sense, because it tells us that EA DICE isn't just copying and pasting another Battle Royale mode. They're actually doing their due diligence, and they're working on a product that is unique and geared towards their community. Now they might be missing it and not kind of touching base on everything that makes the Battle Royale genre and hitting it right on the head for the community, and this is why this testing environment is so important. So I do hope we end up getting a testing phase for this new Firestorm BR mode, and again, I'll be really surprised if we don't end up having one at all. But it is interesting to note that after that tweet reply from Dan Mitra, he was asked if there's going to be a solo play mode for Firestorm, and he replied and said, "Solo mode in Firestorm?" And then he was asked, "Please don't tell me you haven't heard of solos or duos in a battle royale, Dan." And he replied and said, "I have," being cheeky. So that didn't look too hard into his replies here, but this lets us know that they are clearly aware that there are solos and duos in a BR mode, and not knowing everything about who Dan Mitra is as a person, but he is our global community manager, and he's been in a plethora of different live streams and just kind of get an idea of who he is. I don't see him being as a person who's just trying to troll us and trying to incite the community about there not being a solo mode. So this tells me I think there's more to it than what we're seeing here, and again, we just need to kind of wait it out and see what exactly the new information is going to be when it comes out. So I again am looking forward to this new BR mode. I have high hopes for it. I do think it's going to do well. I do think there needs to be some things that need to be worked out. That's why I'm looking for a testing environment, but again, we'll have to wait out and see more information coming out here soon. So that is it for you guys today, though. Again, I always appreciate you guys being here. I am Livin, and I'll catch you guys again later.